Hi, good morning, good
You are
afternoon,
enjoying
good
Steve's
evening,
very own live.
wherever you may be. Welcome to the stream. How you doing this Sunday? Whether it's your morning, afternoon, or evening, whether you are in Monday in that part of the world, I hope you are doing fine. Our beautiful weather is leaving us for a while. We are currently at 48 degrees Fahrenheit, 9 Celsius. A little chilly today. Gonna be a little chilly the next couple of days. We had some sunny weather yesterday, got into the 60s, but it's still spring, so it's still up and down. Uh, but we can use some rain again. I did some transplanting this week, split up some hostas, um, spread them out a little bit, repatch some uh, areas where the grass, even though if I laid down seed, it isn't growing. So hopefully the patch will work a little bit better. And still haven't planted the garden yet, but that's within the next week or so. We'll start doing that. I got to get some seeds going. At the library my wife works at, they have a seed exchange. And she brought home some green pepper, and oh shoot, I forget what the other seed is that I should have started cultivating already, but I didn't. Excuse me. I gotta love these early mornings. Um, the allergies have been killing me. Fall. It's not fall. It's fall. Like usually, I get worse in the fall. The last couple of years, spring hasn't been too bad, but I don't think we've had such a wet spring as in the past. Our local rivers are starting to exceed their banks, um, which just means that come June, July, August, it's going to be drier than drier than dry dog food. Don't mind me. I have no idea what I'm doing this morning. Well, this coffee's not going to last the stream, that's for sure. I should put my own little coffee station in here. It's my studio, right? I should have a coffee station. Even if it's a Keurig. I'm not super big on Keurigs. They're very convenient. But, all those little plastics. You can find the certain coffee. Oh. Hello, Cody. How are you, my friend? How are things? How are things? Hope all is well. What's happening? Let me get this out of my view here. A nice tray. Here we go. So, are you used to the weekends off, Cody? About to get some coffee? That sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. Too bad there wasn't a Casey's or a Bucky's next door. You can keep your Starbucks. Anybody that has Starbucks, you can keep it. Tried this newer coffee place that they just opened up, a drive-through coffee place. I think I talked about it a few weeks back. 7 Brew. They boast 20,000 different drinks, mostly like fruit drinks and energy drinks and the types of teas and that. Just try getting a regular cup of coffee there. It's worse than Starbucks. Well, we can do an Americano with extra hot water, which is basically Americana is a shot of espresso with some extra water in it. Just give me a nice coffee. You're loving the weekends off? Very good. You deserve it. And you get surprised at how quickly you get used to the hours. When I was an assistant with Walgreens, boy, I worked all sorts of nights. I worked in stores where we closed at 10. I worked in stores where we closed at midnight. I worked in 24-hour stores, so I worked a lot of different shifts. And I was always a kind of a night person. And then once I got it to be a manager and got my mornings, it didn't take me long to get used to it, you know. And you get into a nice routine. Probably the big difference between like my being a manager, I didn't always get to leave at 4:30, 5 o'clock. No, 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 no. Oftentimes I didn't get to leave until 6, sometimes 7 o'clock. Oh well. Went to Dunkin', and they had banana pudding frappe or whatever it was. Yum. Oh, let's get some music going here. What do we want to listen to today? Um, you know what I've been enjoying? Where is it? I've been enjoying post-punk pleasures.
Thank you for the 6 long months of subscribing, Andy242. Hello, hello.
Andy, what the? Andy? 6? Dude. All right. Where's my notes? Checking the mail to Andy. Oh my God, Andy, thank you so much. I hope you are doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you. Welcome, traveler. Let's see, where's... Oh, there's a shuffle. Shuffle the list today. Oh my God, Andy. Could make me cry on a Sunday morning. 6 months? You are too kind, young man. You are too kind. Oh, oh no. Awesome. Been busy with the junior. Stream times collide a bit. I understand. Dandy, I thank you. That's too kind of you. Ah. So what have you been up to, Andy? I'm sure you guys have heard about another shot around the world. We're doomed here. We're just doomed. I can slip into a streamer world, and just stay there. Just hide out. I watch him on and off. There is this Canadian YouTuber, Steve Wallace, and he does stealth camping. And he finds all these weird places to camp. I'm thinking that's like survival training videos right now, just in case. This guy camps out in roundabouts or behind signs, and he looks for places that are semi uh what would be semi seclusive, but he could easily be discovered if they come a different direction. And he was the one I watched last night. He was stealth. He made a trailer. It looked like a trailer of pallets, but the center was hollowed out, and he had a little room in there, and it looked like a trailer of pallets. And He had cameras on all four corners. You're in a gaming session right now, a little bit lurky. Okay. I'm just happy you here, and thank you so much for the subscribe, Andy. That is just well too kind of you. 6 months. Wow. Wow. I hope I live up to that. So today we're on just on the Windows setup. I'm not going to get too technical today. I've been working on. I do stuff, a bunch of stuff on Linux, and then I kind of neglect the Windows setup. Hello, Nova Charter. Yes, don't blow it. Don't blow it. Oh my God. You a psycho chicken. Look how consistent you're streaming on Twitch now. Yeah. Oh, Thursday was really good with not a big list of people watching. Although I find with GeoGuessr that more people lurk. I'll see like my viewership will go up during the stream, but active viewers, say such as you and Cody and Nova right now, are increase, which is fine. I mean, I've been enjoying it. I had a real good session with GeoGuessr, and I added some things now when people help me make a guess that, let's see. Let me show you. I set up the window. So let's see. Move the game scene. I have nothing up here right now. But if if everybody makes the right guess, that'll come up. Or if we do a wrong guess, that'll come up across GeoGuessr. And then I added, I gotta add that to, that's what I gotta add, that sound bite. So here it is. So I added a drum roll. And then we'll either get, or we'll get. So I added that for GeoGuessr, and it seemed to do pretty well.
You are enjoying Steve's
Shut up, announcer.
own live.
Let's see, what did I fix? Oh, I redid my Polaroid shot. Let's see, I don't think I tested it on Windows yet. Let's see if this works. That came out pretty smooth. So I'll spend like a week or so really doing my Linuxy stuff, and I'll go, oh wait, I now have to update over on Windows, and now I have to copy a bunch of stuff to my backup drive so then I can get it to Windows. Or the good thing about Linux now is also I can just bring up and put it right to the Windows drive, because Linux does that where Windows doesn't. Windows is like, you're not Windows, so we don't see you. And I have to update my Windows stuff. And of course, my wife always prints while I'm on screen here. Oh boy. Well, that's the stuff that I've been working on and doing. Any other things? No, I got to add more to the I changed the fart to where now it's But over on the windows, I have like a couple clouds and things like that. I have to do that here. Oh, so what have you taken care of the junior? What other things have you guys been working on? Um, Nova, I think I see they keep going back and forth with a new Star Trek movie. First, they cancel all Star Trek TV shows, cancel the movies. Now all of a sudden they're talking about another movie. They're gonna, just like Disney, they're gonna ruin Star Trek again. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to watch anything decent. But we watched a 6-part series, I guess, with Mark Gatiss, Sherlock fame, Doctor Who fame. He's got a British series. Again, it's only 6 episodes. It's called Bookish. Takes place in England, in London, just after the war, 1946. And he plays a bookshop owner that's kind of Sherlockian in a way, but played as only Mark Gatiss can play. The difference is it covers what it was like being gay in that era, and which Gatiss adds to a lot of his stuff. I'm not sure. I believe he's gay. I don't care. I find him very interesting, and it's very quirky, and it was pretty good. So there's actually 3 episodes, which two parts to each episode, so 6 series in that. Once Stranger Worlds 5th season comes out, you'll probably cancel Paramount. I think what I'll do is we'll subscribe for a month and then binge. I think I'll wait until one of two things. Either I'll wait until season 5 comes out and then do Paramount, and then I can binge on 4 and 5, or wait till they come out on DVD, because my wife will order DVDs for the library for the patrons. She'll, oh, my husband will like this. I'll order it if they're not going to get it. So I watched season 3. I do want to see Tulsa Kings, and I guess it will be interesting. We'll see if they're going to really do the spinoff. I think it's going to be called Nola Kings. It's going to be Samuel L. Jackson, because he's in season 4 of Tulsa King, and they'll be in New Orleans. There'll be a version of Tulsa King in New Orleans with Samuel L. Jackson. That should be interesting. It's hard. It's hard to, like, what are you gonna watch? What network do you want? I unsubscribed after having Disney for a couple years, and the price just kept going up and up and up. And the fact that now they bundle with Hulu, but you got to still pay extra for Hulu, I said, screw this. And it was like after the Jimmy Kimmel debacle. I didn't necessarily unsubscribe because of that, but it was a bit of a reason. But I just got tired of pricing. And then of course now things like Daredevil Born Again season 2 is getting a lot of good reviews and all that. It's like, eh. But I'll probably just do a month here and there. That's what we do. We'll cycle through. We'll get a gift card from Netflix or whatever and sign up for a month. Binge out. Because they often don't put in enough monthly stuff, to keep up with that kind of payment cycle. It's just better to binge after a while, right? That's what we do. But and I've been looking at more of the free movie channels and that on Roku. Yes, they have ads, but I've been using Tubi for years, and The ads aren't too bad. Sometimes there's only like a 30-second ad, and then they'll add 180-second ads. And usually the ads get longer towards the end of the movie where they got you. But what's nice is there's no cutting of the movie. What was on the other day on network TV? Oh, The Intern with uh, what's his name? Look it up. I'm going blank. I should know him. To Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway, and it's a 2-hour movie. When it was on WGN um, television, and it was a 3-hour time slot, and the commercials were unbearable. At least with Tubi and even Pluto or even the Roku Live channel, the commercials aren't too bad, but they don't cut up the movies, right? They do play the whole movie. And I had also just got done binging on I did a rewatch of Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, the 2004 series. And let's see, the pop punk stuff maybe isn't doing that well today. Um well, hello, Donnie. Welcome back. Good afternoon, boss. Hope you're having a cracking weekend. There's a movie coming out from Norway, Kraken. I think it's not going to be on Netflix. I saw the previews for it. I'm doing good, Donnie. Thank you. How are you today? Just talking about the movies today, but um yeah, but Tubi does play pretty decent. I started watching. I did a rewatch of Battlestar Galactica, and for a 2004 television series, the special effects really hold up. The whole space shots have been good. The only thing that didn't hold up was the Cylon robots. Um, but all the space shots were great in that. Um, I rented those from not well, they weren't at our library. We go to another bigger library once a week with my son, and he takes all these books and DVDs out. Call him bookish, and I had picked it up from there. And now it's going to be. I guess they're going to have a on Pluto for the month. I haven't seen it. I was looking at Pluto yesterday, but they're going to have Battlestar Galactica on Pluto. And Pluto's not too bad. And then on Roku, you got I haven't signed up for it. I don't. They have what's it called? Not friendly, Howdy, Howdy or something like that for $2.99 a month, and everything that would normally be on Pluto and Tubi and all that, you'll get to watch commercial free. Am I a fan of comics? Yes, I am. Actually, I haven't bought comics in a long time. Here, give me a minute. Let me bring out my little collection. Don't pay attention to the closet. Oh, here's one tray. 2 trays. Three trays. Now these go back. I bought a bunch of these during the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. That's okay. So let's see, how can I do this? And I'll show you. So my favorite comic characters in Marvel are Spider-Man and Daredevil. And then in DC, it's Superman and Batman. And I guess we'll start with this box. So I found a lot of unique or series comics in that. Found there was a series with just Robin and the Huntress. This was the Night Quest series where after Batman got his back broken by Bane, and there were several different Batmans. I just bought, and when I bought these, so try to go to a comic shop now. And let's see, $1.25 US. This Batman one, $1.25 US. Most of these were $1.25. But let's see if I can find out. I found a couple of unique ones. Let's see. Oh, I do have like the Superman funeral for a friend after the death of Superman. I don't have them I used to have them in order, and some of my friends went through them. But I got oh, here we go. Here we go. Which you could actually find, not a version on this, but you can find it on YouTube, a fan film. Batman versus Predator. You can find a fan film on YouTube, Batman versus Predator. That's pretty decent. Let's see, what else do I got here? But a lot of Batman, of course. Oh, and I wish they would do this right. I wish they would do this right. Green Hornet. So Green Hornet was actually a radio series from the 30s, 40s that they made then into it went into the comics and that. And of course we had the 60s series with Bruce Lee as Kato and that. I've always been more of a DC fan. I have more DC, I think, in here than I have a lot of Batman and Superman. Here I go. Reign of the Supermen with Superboy. So I have more DC comics than that. But the Green Hornet. So if you're from the US, and if you were a Western fan even throughout the world, and you've seen the Lone Ranger. Green Hornet was Britt Reed, great grandson of John Reed, who was the Lone Ranger. So there, Seth Rogen, not Seth Rogen, what Seth whatever. Seth Rogen did a version that was absolutely horrible. The Jay Chow that played Kato did a fantastic job, but it was played as really campy and comic like. There is a version
You
out
are
there that's
enjoying Steve's
made
very
from
own life.
or that was made in France, I believe. And it's a short film. It's probably about a not even a 10-minute film, but the martial arts in that, it is so good. Um but it is really hard to find a good version of this now because it's pretty old. This wasn't it. Oh, here we go. I think this is it. Okay. Again, I don't play the audio on these for YouTube side. I'll give you a link to this. And you can find that Green Hornet one there. You know, this is pretty good. I'll just show you a brief. You guys can watch this on your own. But yeah, you can see like the quality is just pretty bad. This is from 19 years ago. So and it's from a guy called French Man of Steel. I don't know if he did it, but it's been on there. But in this, Green Hornet knows martial arts really well too. Can I get a better quality here? 240. Oh my god, they got this at 240. No wonder. And that, but watch it. I won't say. I want to find the one of the good fight scenes here. Here we go. This is what I want to see the Green Hornet. So, here, let me. So watch that at your leisure and
You are
enjoy.
enjoying Steve's
Let me know if
very
you
own
really
life.
like that. So, um, when they did Batman and Robin here with Joel Schumacher, which was just a horrible Batman flick with sorry, I'm going. With George Clooney. George Clooney was up. They were going to do a Green Hornet movie where it's him as the Green Hornet as Britt Reed. Britt Reed, you know, a millionaire newspaper man, which Clooney would have played perfectly. But he decided to take Batman instead, and which is probably one of the worst made Batman movies ever. It's just horrible. But those are the kind of comics that I mean, I kind of look for. So you can see Batman. Who else? Batman. Batman. So that's in that, but let's see if I could find. Oh, here's and then here's my guy. Charlie Cox. I think the series is a lot more violent than maybe in the comics, but I love Batman and Green blah 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 blah. Spider-Man and Daredevil. Those were my two Marvel guys, and then like I said, Batman and Superman. Let's see if I can find anything good in this box. So, of course, Batman, a lot of detective comics. Here's Spider-Man fighting Platoon, the killer soldier. Yeah, so most of these are like my Spider-Man comics. Here, Maximum Carnage. This was 7 of 14. I don't. One, two, that's my webcam. Let's go back. Testing 1, 2. Okay. How long was I? I must have hit the mic. It might be time to start looking at a mic. So I said I had like Maximum Carnage. This was 7 of 14. I got a couple of them. I don't think I have the complete thing. Daredevil. So I was saying I had, as a kid, it was given to me the original Daredevil in his red and yellow costume. My mom gave those away. She didn't think I was reading them. So, and then Venom, a lethal protector. Let's see if I can find something unique in here that I have. And still, these comics were $1.25. Some of them, like this one with the Sinister Six, was $1.75. I read them all, and you can see, and they're pretty good. These are from the night. Let's see. This is from. This is just June of 23. Not 23. 23rd of June this was released. Oh, and then some of them came with full page, like poster like covers. Let's see, this one came out in June of 92. So it was in that, I found this comic shop, and I would go in there and instead of buying my Playboys and all that, I would buy some comics. I have not bought a comic, and because now they're like, for something like this, they're like $6-7 or more. I have not bought a comic in years, so I really don't look at them. And then there's been so many changes. They talk about the rebooting of the MCU, the rebooting of the DCU. I think what most people don't realize is how often the comics rebooted. They would just all of a sudden up and change. If you look at at Batman from the 60s, and all the comics were very campy. And then Frank Miller did that very darker. That's where the Dark Knight actually came from, Frank Miller's version. and that's where I think. And then he also did Daredevil from Marvel, where he made Daredevil a little bit darker in that. But the Dark Knight came from Frank Miller's version of Batman, and he became more. There's one of the Batman comics where he's in a position and someone is ready to clobber him, but he's like, there's 6 ways to defend this. 3 of them kill, 2 of them badly hurt, and this one, and finally he like does one that just hurts. I did buy the full Death of Superman, so I have the and this one was only $5 US at the time. Who's the actor that played Batman the best? I think I have to say Affleck is the Batman that we know it. Although, you know, he did play a more brutal Batman. But what's his name? I'm sorry. I'm doing old man stuff today. I'm forgetting. Christian Bale, I think, had the best essence of Batman. At least for me. And my wife who's not a comic book person, really loves those Nolan Batman series. In fact, for her birthday, we went to see The Dark Knight when it came out in 2008. The last comic I got was a hardcover Star Trek graphic novel, the teleplay on City of the Edge Forever. Okay. Yeah, I haven't bought one in a long time. And I'm surprised these have, I don't have, some of them came with a plastic wrap. Like this Daredevil one came with a plastic wrap. But, the Amazing Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man, they had so many different like iterations in that. Let's see if I could find another kind of. If I don't, as long as I don't hit my microphone here, let's see. Someone took the comic out of this one. So yeah, I even got some of the Robin ones, like I showed earlier. But Nightfall Batman, where there were a couple iterations of Batman, and the ones that played, what was Archangel? Was that one of the characters that played Batman? He kind of had some powers that Superman didn't have, but he was also a little more evil. Not evil, brutal. Okay, Donnie, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. You take care. Thanks for getting me started on comics. Gives me something to talk about. Cody's excited for the new Spider-Man. Going to take the boys to see it. Yeah. So, there's that scene where Spider-Man is jumping off the building and the ninjas. It's like the from No Way Home, where they kind of cut out the 2 Spider-Men, the 2 other Spider-Men that were in it. and who's jumping off the building because some of the ninjas are going lower and looking at something else. And so, well, it's probably the Punisher and the Hulk helping him. Now, I don't see the Punisher jumping off a building like that. He's crazy, but I don't think this version of the Punisher would do that. And if you were the Hand and the Hulk was coming at you, would you be attacking the Hulk? So who are they hiding? And is that scene going to really be in the movie? Because we know Marvel has, like when they were releasing Endgame and that, they released a lot of stuff that were not in the movies just to throw you off. But then when they did Spider-Man, you could tell that there's, they were going to be in it no matter what. So is Daredevil? Is Daredevil in there? Who else would be helping Spider-Man like that would be jumping off a building? They said maybe Jean Grey, but Jean Grey is more psychic. And supposedly she's just learning about her powers. Let's see, what do I got here? What else do I have here? Here we go. Daredevil with Nomad. Wasn't that what Captain America became? Do they show up again? I don't know. Oh, here's one of the Nightfall series with Two-Face. So I have a pretty good collection here. Here we go. Bane. That's the Nightfall series. That's after he broke Batman's back. That's a possibility. Miles Morales. But let's see. Did I have anything other kind of a little bit different? They said I had the Batman versus Predator. I had I don't know what happened to it. I might have to dig through these individually. I thought I had Predator versus RoboCop. I thought I had one of those. There was a lot of, there were some comic companies that were doing crossovers that were unusual, but I thought I had RoboCop versus Predator. So I could spend all day I haven't gone through them in a while, so I'll have to go through them again. I know at one time I had them all in kind of like chronological order, but then my son and his buddy several years ago went through them, and maybe a couple of them disappeared. I don't know if they're worth anything these days, but they're in pretty good shape for not being wrapped. And then in what do I have? I have the cover got messed up on this one, so it doesn't have the new cover, but I have it is all in, none of it's in color, but it's a complete early days of here, some of it's in color, of Superman. So, and then I actually have a couple of big books of all the Sherlock Holmes stuff, which isn't really comic, but it's my kind of collection here. So that's my stuff. So yeah, so Spider-Man, does he get powers? Is it Venom? Does the symbiote show up? But then the symbiote is not on Spider-Man. Who would the symbiote be on? Or symbiote? Cody recently bought a 3DS, modded it, and is playing it. My son has recently been playing his old 3D his 3DSs. And then for his Twitch 2, he switched to he just got the new Tamagotchi game. You know, I have my visions of, who these superheroes should be in movies and that, but I always take it that I'm not the one making the movie, you know. I when I heard that Sony really wanted another multiverse going on with Spider-Man, no, just bring it on with Daredevil. And Daredevil becomes Spider-Man's mentor. Going back to the really street level Spider-Man. But I guess Spider-Man himself starts. They don't want to say he's a mutate. He's not mutating. He's evolving. But I like the fact that with this Spider-Man movie, they're going back to more practical effects. Did you see the clips where he's on these strings and he's just swinging back and forth like he's having a whole lot of fun doing it? When Peter was getting dizzy and passed out, you thought Venom was going to be in it. They're dying to get Venom in there, you know? And I know there's a lot of people out there that maybe like prefer some of the villains. I can't say I have any particular villain that I would like to see without the hero, right? I thought the Venom movies were good. I think Tom Hardy did pretty good with those. Although the first Venom, they wanted to do it R, and then they said, no, we got to make it PG, and then there was a big mishmash of like scenes that didn't work out really well. But trying to do villain movies or like, without like they did Madam Web, which was probably one of the worst superhero movie, close to one of the worst. If you've ever watched the Captain America from the 90s, might have been from the 80s, where they had fake rubber ears. I mean, because he put this Captain America thing on, they had fake ears. It was bad. Oh, it was bad, 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 bad. But Hollywood always thinks that we're stupid. The comic people will come and see these movies, but then the average person will come. You make a good fucking movie, and people are going to come whether they're comic book fans or not. The Nolan trilogy, Batman Begins. I didn't even, I actually didn't even know that that was being made until, and I'm a Batman fan, right? My sister-in-law watched it and she liked it, and she's not a comic book fan. Yeah, the third one was a little crazy on Venom and that. But The Dark Knight is the probably right up there with one of the best comic book movies because they kept Batman kind of street level. I didn't particularly like Dark Knight Rises and Bane Tom. I mean, I still watch that today, and it's like that can't be Tom Hardy as Bane. But as long as they do it okay, like the Craven movie, Craven without Spider-Man. I think they probably had some comics out there. Well, I think they were hoping to have, with Madam Web. I think they were hoping to have Tobey Maguire in it, or maybe even um, yeah, the new Spider-Man in it, but they couldn't get the rights, so they ended up being with uh, she met Spider-Man's mom when she was pregnant with Peter. But I'll go through YouTube every once in a while and I'll look at fan films. I'll look for some. And some of them are not filmed very well, but the essence is pretty good. The storyline in that. And these are made by fans. And there's a couple other that are really good. There's one with Nightwing that's really good by Ishma. Look up Ishma Hawk. And there are this one guy did um a trailer. Hi, Daddy. Okay. The newest Doctor Strange movie I hope to see with Toby Spider-Man, but it was really good. And we'll see. What Doctor Strange is supposed to have a lot to do with um Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom kind of gets him. What are you streaming? Crazy stuff. Actually, we're talking about someone asked me if I was into comic books, and I brought out, I have some. I did a comic collection back in the day, and we were talking about some of the movies in that, comic book movies in that. But I'm a general streamer. I'm a daddy. I'm an old guy that just likes to talk. I only have 2 viewers because that's all I have right now. So what do you want me to do? Hang up? Because a lot of them are lurking. I can. What do you is that what you're here for? If you're here for that, please don't. It depends. Sometimes I get more, sometimes I get less. People have things to do. But so we'll have to see what the new Spider-Man movie, what they're gonna do. I do like the scene where he, webs the sword, the samurai sword, and it then pulls it apart to show his strength. But a lot of fan films out there. You can, like I said, you can search them through on YouTube, and there's some really good ones. And Star Trek ones and all that. They're pretty good. But the fan, yeah, I mean, some of the fans out there make some really good. That's why Paramount was afraid for a while. That's why they went after, CBS and Paramount went after the people making fan films, because they were making stuff better than than they were on Star Trek. But the one I started talking about, the one this guy he did, it's like Batman was killed, and Robin had kind of retired for a while, but now it's an older Robin. He's being pressured to come back and find out who killed Superman, or killed Batman. And they have Superman in it, and these other characters in that. And he went through on how he filmed this. He did a scene at what's the one of the universities in California. He didn't have permission to do it, and he had to film it really quick, but he needed like an older looking building for it. You have some insights on Star Trek fan films. You can chat offline about that. Okay, whenever you want to do that. But I think Paramount finally just gave up, didn't they? Because there's some really good ones out there. There's some really good ones out there. But yeah, Hollywood just thinks that the average that we're stupid, and the movies that end up doing well are the movies that don't insult our intelligence. I'm a big, as far as in novels and that, I read a lot of adventure novels. As far as Clive Cussler is one of them. I mean, he's very prolific at his Dirk Pitt series. Dirk Pitt is one of my favorite novel characters. And they've tried a couple times to make a movie with Dirk Pitt. The original Raise the Titanic, a horrible movie. Horrible movie. And Sahara. Now, on the face of it, Sahara is a good action movie. And Nexar was trying to. Okay, I remember. I don't think I particularly watched that series, but they were trying to. Yeah, if you try to make money off of it, they're gonna. Sahara is one of the best Clive Cussler Dirk Pitt novels. It's really good. Matthew McConaughey as Dirk Pitt, yeah, pretty close. I could see it. But the character in the books is he's a former Air Force major that is chief troubleshooter for NUMA, a Marine agency. Oh my God, an Air Force guy on the ocean? That doesn't work out. So we're gonna make him he used to be a Navy SEAL, and now he's a treasure hunter. he likes the water because he was raised in California and they had beachfront property. And but that's the mentality of Hollywood. Cussler throws a lot in his books. It always starts off with a history piece, and he ties it into what happens. And it's not quite a treasure hunting movie, but he does save the world, and that earlier piece has something to do with how he saves the world. And it's hard to really make a movie out of it. It would be great for a Amazon, Netflix, HBO series, and that, because they could put more to it. Although Sahara has one of the best openings as far as describing, without words, the history of this character and that. But Sahara has one of the best things in that. But Hollywood this music is not doing it for me today. Do essential new wave. There we go. But yeah, they just think that we're stupid and we need everything explained to us. That's why some of these independent films do really well, because they don't insult us. But in most cases, I don't get all hyped up if, they change a character, they change his or her race or gender or whatever, as long as it's pretty true to the comics. Because the comics have done that themselves, right? The comics have reiterated. Is that the word? Is that a word I want to use, Nova? They've reiterated, changed characters to increase comic sales. They had Civil War. Their version of Civil War was nothing like what was on, was in the Marvel verse. But the Civil War was used to kind of reboot the comics, and then Secret Wars and all that. Well, if you're not a comic book reader, you wouldn't know that, right? But I am getting tired of all this multiverse stuff. It's kind of cool. They gotta bring these characters, like they're finally working in X-Men. And X-Men were actually more popular at the time than the early days of the Avengers. But going in and going forward, they're going to concentrate more on X-Men stuff, I mean, who are they going to find to replace Hugh Jackman? And talk about, Hugh Jackman was what, 6'something, 6'2"? Where Wolverine, the original Wolverine, was like 5'5". He's a little guy. He's a Wolverine. He was like a lot of little guys are, they act really tough. Well, Wolverine was tough, but he did it pretty well. Was it Kevin Smith talked about when he was a big Daredevil fan too, and that's why he's in that Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. And that was not a great version of Daredevil, unfortunately. And But he was talking about he was asked to write for was it Joel Schumacher or no, another one of the Joels, producer, which was going to become the Nicolas Cage Superman movie, which they've kind of, which ended up being put into Superman Returns, and they changed that up. Where he tells Kevin, I want Superman to fight a giant spider. And that's why in The Flash, they threw Nicolas Cage, who never was really Superman, into that fighting a giant spider. It was kind of like not a nod. I think. But it's really hard. You can't take a book or where you have to really use your mind for visual effects and turn that into a movie. Majority of the time, it's not going to suit your image of what that character was, because we all develop. I mean, we can read the same book, and my vision of that main character is going to be different than yours because of how we are, the way we look at things. So now do it in a movie form, you know. What did my wife and I watch a couple weeks ago? Rooftop Man, which was based on a true story. Even true stories they change up. The Roof Man, with Channing Tatum, and based on a story of a guy that would break into these restaurants and all that through the roof, and he ended up being caught, and then he ended up he escaped prison, and he hangs out in a Toys R Us for a month or so. Now the movie was nothing like the true story, but you got to make it a little more interesting, right? So things do change. And they're based. Remember, it always says based on. Doesn't mean that for line, it's the same. It's the movie that you want to see. But that's movies. And as long as I'm I'm entertained and I enjoy it, I'm good. I mean, I could never make that movie. I don't know about you. But yeah, but just sometimes they just get so bad. Like that original Captain America. Oh my gosh, that was. And then the movie The Flash. I think in probably about 90% of it I enjoyed, but that 10% that was bad was bad. But that director still put together a pretty decent movie after all the studio changes and how they wanted things. I mean, the dumbest part was George Clooney at the end as Bruce Wayne. A nod to one of the worst Batman movies ever. That was pretty bad. But that's enough about movies and comics. What else is going on? What else has been happening? What do you got planned for today? How's the pizza coming, uh, Andy? Still haven't watched which one? The Flash? Need to go to the store soon. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's there's some good stuff in it. I did not like how my I didn't like how they showed the him running through the, I don't know if you can call it the multiverse. That was kind of odd. But no, it was a pretty decent movie. It's a shame that he's, it's like, was a little wacky. I liked his character, the way he played kind of Barry Allen. But again, that director went through, so many iterations and so many changes. And I mean, look, they never released, was it Batwoman, the movie, or Batgirl? They finish and all that, but for tax reasons, it can never be released. I wonder if someone day it will, be released because what's his name was supposed to show up in there as Batman again to help Batwoman. I like the girl that played Supergirl. I'm not so. I'm worried a little bit about the new Supergirl movie. But Jason Momoa as Lobo, that should be pretty decent. We'll have to wait and see. Saw a trailer for was it the Death of Robin Hood, and Hugh Jackman plays Robin Hood. I'm watching this. I'm like, I don't know who's this actor. I didn't see the Hugh Jackman's name in it yet, but the voice is familiar. But Robin Hood was not who we thought he was. But that looks pretty decent. I like those kind of movies. But yeah, movies are they're just really really hard to turn into turn books and that into movies. Just really hard. Just you have to have special directors and all that. Like I never read. Well, no, I take that back. I think I read one of the Hobbits. I can't remember which one. Was it the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings? I don't. But I tell you, I did enjoy the movies. I don't particularly get into those lores. You were writing a script years ago that was basically a Robin Hood in space. There's been a number of different Robin Hoods. There was the one with boy, the old man is really bad today. I mean, from the classic era, Errol Flynn, that um, as Robin Hood. Um, the Kevin Costner version, him trying to do an English accent. I mean, it was a good movie, but it wasn't really. Robin Hood Men in Tights. which is funny. And then Sean Connery, when Audrey Hepburn, they played Robin and Marion. Russell Crowe's version, that was kind of gritty. He wasn't, he was or wasn't Robin Hood or Sir Loxley. Taron Egerton one was pretty decent, but um that was different. More action. But in the Errol Flynn version, with Basil Rathbone was a fencer, and he had to kind of hold himself back. Used to watch that movie a lot with my dad. So you're gonna write a script of a Robin Hood in space, huh? So do you do a lot of? I mean, do you do script writing? Do you um, do it for yourself for entertainment? Is that a dream of yours to be a good script writer? It wasn't Robin Hood. It was that kind of style. Kind of nonchalant, but didn't want to be a hero, but was a hero kind of deal. Kind of like Nathan Fillion from Firefly, you know. I never watched Firefly, but I did watch the movie. I thought I'd go back and watch the series, but I really didn't. I like Nathan Fillion. He's good. There are a lot of good actors in that. But the movie was what? The movie was Serenity. So what else? I mean, I could talk about kind of movies all day. I mean, it like I said, it depends. I mean, I'm more of an adventure action kind of guy. I like science fiction, but I don't read science fiction. There was a device he was trying to get that would help power a poor population's colony on the dark side of a tidally locked planet. Interesting. My son has been working on a Wonder Woman script, a animated series. He doesn't really show it. He's got a bunch of friends that he gets together with on not on YouTube, on Discord and that, and they'll do art and add their 2 cents into it, and they'll kind of story play it. But I think he's on season 6. But he's got this vision of doing all sorts of it's kind of like a Wonder Woman the anime, but and he loves Wonder Woman. And but it has all these other characters from all different types of animation genre in there. It's just like, dude, you're never gonna get the rights to these. Well, you never know, Dad. But yeah, he's between Discord and DeviantArt. He's got like these guys and girls just get together and do that kind of stuff. And he will spend hours writing. But he barely shares it with me. You know, he'll hide. Yeah. Mom and dad doesn't need to see this stuff. But he'll talk about it all the time. And then I have a very eclectic taste in music, so he just he has to listen to all sorts of things. Either he likes what I play or he doesn't like what I play. But then once in a while, something will come and go, "Oh, that sounds like that would be a good introduction, an intro to Wonder Woman anime season whatever episode 22." And he'll think of something and he'll pull out his phone and he'll just start on Google Docs and just start typing away and then draw it in later. That's what him and I are like, very creative. My wife is very numbers oriented. And then he sits here and he also designs sprites in that. Let's see if I can. Oh shit, I don't have it on my Windows setup. I think I could show this. So I have him make Mother's Day cards, birthday cards, and that for mom. And um, he's actually made, he's made these. He hasn't copied these off of anything. He's got a game maker program that he likes Shy Guys. He does a lot of stuff with Shy Guys and that. But he's got, he puts together these sprites and that other people can use in their games and that. I don't know what they use them. But I don't know if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it here. He made
You are enjoying Steve's very own
Oh,
live.
quiet. Do I have it on my backup drive? Mm-mm-mm. Oh, here we go. I can show this. So again, he made a birthday card. This is mom as a superhero. This is my son. I forget what he calls himself. And then this is me as a superhero. Although I don't know, I barely have a beard. I grow a goatee once in a while. But these he made um, with his Game Maker program. I think mom is Golden Glory. I think he's Lumen. Lumen, if I remember right. And I'm the old guy with the beard. But that's my superhero character. So that's the stuff and he'll sit there for hours with he's got
You are enjoying Steve's very own live.
he's got couple of game maker programs and that he's doing stuff with. But yeah, pretty creative in that. My wife could be creative when she wants to be, but she's always been more of a numbers person. Her dad was like that. Her sister's just unbelievable. Her sister's like a bank officer. My wife had, what do they call it? It's a kit where you can make like really nice 3D greeting cards, like that you go to Hallmark or something and you pay like $10 for. But she had this kit where she did really nice with it, and then she ended up getting rid of it. But I remember with my son, I taught him how to back before, he's born in 95, and we had a camcorder that you can do stop motion with. And, before we really got digital cameras and such, I showed him how to use it, and he used to put together his own stop motion stuff. Don't know if I don't have it. Can't get to it. I had, yeah, it's on his Linux setup. He took an animation class in college, junior college, and I have a Canon SX40. It's not a DSLR, but it's what they call a bridge camera. It's got a 40 time, or it's SX30 time optical zoom on it. Um, and he did a stop motion for his class and all that, and he did pretty good with it. But my wife had all these like cotton and all that, and he would do stop motion with the camcorder, and like the cotton would, he would add to it or take away from it, so like it was a floating cloud. I have never watched an episode of Stranger Things. Are there things out there that people go, oh, you gotta watch this, but you never watch it either because you don't have that network? Or my sister-in-law is always telling me that we need to watch what's Breaking Bad. I think I might have seen an episode or two, but I never really got into it. Can't watch everything. There's too much out there. You would not have a life outside of that. So no, so with the warmer weather coming out, what are you guys looking forward to doing? What do you guys like to do out, when you're not in when we're not in our nerd world here, and you actually get outside? What's outside, Steve? Outside is out there. I gotta start my walking again. I am struggling so bad with my back, and um short of breath all the time, just getting old and sore, and probably just longer walks with the dog. Yeah, that's what I wish, you know. I go, now that I'm retired, we can get a dog, right? And my wife said, no. It was when I retire, I'll get the dog. I'm like, wait a minute. Because they're like, oh, we weren't home enough to have a dog before. Now I'm home a lot majority of the time. But we have a big difference. I would love to get a pit. There was my son and I, when he was in the Boy Scouts, and we were doing um one of his merit badges, and we were doing community service, and we signed up at this Petco to walk their dogs a couple times a week, and they had this fawn colored pit. Her name was Hazel. She had hazel eyes. She was so good. They thought she was aggressive, but she really wasn't. And my son, we did also see if you get used to dogs. He likes birds. He loves his bird. He's got a diamond dove. But he's always kind of afraid of dogs. Hazel would just love him. And she would get the tennis ball, and he would, grab it from, he'd really put his hand in her mouth, and she wouldn't do nothing about it. And just a real good dog. And one day, the one of the managers said, "Steve, can you feed Hazel? Here's her portion and all that. But you know what? Stand over her bowl, or else she won't eat." What? Because yeah, stand over her bowl. So not food aggressive at all. But if it was her way, if you were standing over her bowl, she was being protected. She was maybe a bit in a way feral, because when we take her out for a walk, if they moved one of the big garbage cans out and back, she would roll around in it, covering her scent. Kind of a crazy dog, but such a good girl. And then finally she got adopted. My wife, no, 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 we're not having a pet. they are so lovable when they're treated just right. The reason why they get so mean is because of the way they feel about their owner, master, whatever you want to call it. But Hazel, yeah, she's probably gone now because she was. So this was 15 years ago, 15, 14 years ago, and she was about two or so at the time. So she was probably, unfortunately, close to end of life. She was such a good girl. God, such a good girl. Strong. But she was really good with me and my son. Not aggressive at all, but there was one time they had we were doing an adoption, and we would each walk a dog through Petco, and Hazel had a little plaid scarf on her, you know, a bandana, and I had kind of kneeled down and was petting her on the floor and was watching this other group of people off to my right. And all of a sudden, I hear her growling a little bit off to my left, and I see this lady backing away. I guess she was the way she was walking up to Hazel. Hazel didn't like that. Sorry. But I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind have a cat either. But I am so allergic to cats. Unfortunately, there are some really cool cats out there. I didn't realize for years my neighbor had a cat, and then one day the cat started going outside, and I see a cat on the deck, and I'm like, "Hi there!" And what did she name? Wasn't the cat? Was the cat Charlie? But if I was doing lawn work, the cat would come over and visit with me. My son would yell out the window, "Dad, stay away from the cat. You're allergic to cats." I would feel a bump against my leg and say, "Oh, where'd you come from?" I guess he had gotten sick and passed. There's some cool cats out there. What's the name of the cat? He was uh, had a lot of views on YouTube. I think they were from the Netherlands, and he would put a GoPro on the cat's collar because like the cat would disappear for hours at a time. So he figured he'd start recording where the cat went. Cat got in some mischief, but the view when it would be walking along gutters on roofs, it's like holy shit. Oh, what else? That was fun today talking about the comics and that. I haven't brought them up for a while. I'll have to go through them all. I know I had, like I said, I had a couple of what I found unusual, like the Batman versus Predator. I know I had a RoboCop versus Predator. But that's about the comic. You can do that. You can create different, these characters to fight each other. That I think in print might be easier to get the rights for than in the movies. I'm gonna take a little break. Give me a minute. I will be right back. So I wanted to put some of the stuff away I
You
pulled
are
out
enjoying
before I knocked it
Steve's
down.
very own live.
Hope you enjoyed that clip. That's actually one that I made from a trip back in 2018. I got sent to Vermont to help set up a Rite Aid that was purchased by Walgreens with a 2-week project, and in Battlesboro, Vermont, small town. Great coffee house there. Cup of Joe's, I think it was called. Real good barbecue place too there. But that was over actually on the New Hampshire side, because Battlesboro is pretty much near the New Hampshire border. And I took that was from my SX30, SX30 Canon. And I just started recording some video. It was a nice walk I went on that day. Pretty hilly. A couple of nice spots over on the New Hampshire side to go walking through. A nice trip. Thinking of doing some recording outside. Doing thoughts. These are my thoughts. No one cares, Steve. Go on with your thoughts. Keep your thoughts to yourself. That was actually a good time. It was the first time that I was away from my wife and son for 2 weeks. The challenge for her. She was working and taking care of him. But it was a complete paid trip. I think we were about a couple hours away from Boston. If you streamed back there, if I would have known it, would have gone out and visited you. I'm try to get around this year. I think this year would be smaller weekend vacations. Maybe next year. Maybe next year I can go to TwitchCon. My wife started talking about San Diego. Have you been to San Diego? I'm like, buddy, you should mention San Diego. She goes, why? What's going on? I said, TwitchCon. She goes, TwitchCon. I go, yeah, TwitchCon. What's TwitchCon? Well, TwitchCon is TwitchCon. Spend maybe a week out there. I go to TwitchCon for a couple of days. Meet Finite. I've met a couple of people in my streaming worlds that I have met and have not been disappointed so far. But it's one thing to kind of know each other or that this way to meeting physically. We might go out to Minnesota this year. We might go up to Minneapolis, go to the Mall of America. My son's dying to go to Mall of America. He likes malls. Maybe I could buy Finite a coffee. That'd be interesting. All right, my friends. Well, I think we'll call it a day here. We had a very interesting time. I hope you enjoyed about my comic collection. Maybe we'll go through a little more in depth the next time. I've been meaning to pull those out. I've got a couple ideas too. I also have if you're into history, I have letters that a girl was writing my father during World War II. And these letters are still in, I got them wrapped in that in plastic. They're in really good shape. And he was in the Pacific. He was in the Philippines, and these letters had you could tell that he took care of these letters. Now it's not a woman that married my dad married. He had hoped. I was my grandmother wanted him to marry her, but she lived in New York, and there's a lot of history in those. Um, that one of these days I'll have to maybe we'll read them out, or maybe I'll do an AI voice for them, a female AI voice to make it interesting instead of me just reading it. And then we could talk about some of the notes that are in there. I know for years my mom was unhappy that my dad had these letters, but it took him through the war, got him through the war. My dad didn't talk about it much. I know he had malaria. He still suffered a bit from that in his years. But I never knew that. I thought he came home right away, but he was actually in South Korea as part of a police force for a short time after the war. He never talked about that. Learned it through the letters. But so they're interesting. Part of my father that I have that, it's just like, what? They made mom mad. I know. But it's a history of dad before mom. But it's also because my grandmother had mentioned many times to my mom that she wasn't the woman he wanted. And I'm sure that still happens today, but back in the day, so my father was Austrian, and this was an Austrian girl. My mom's Polish. Oh my God, an Austrian marrying a Pole. That might have been white marrying black. It's the way it goes. A Christian marrying a Jew. That mentality, I don't understand. You find someone you love, you fall in love with, and that. But such is life sometimes. That's the way it goes. Okay. Well, I think I will call it a day here. I smell bacon. Breakfast. Need more coffee. More coffee. So I hope you enjoyed with the comics and all that. I'll have to put them in order and see what I have. I know I know I had a couple other um, real odd ones. I might have lent them out and never got them back. Really stupid of me. Really stupid of me, but whatever. It's hard to keep track of things over the years. We'll wait to this ad. If anybody's watching during ads, we'll wait till the ads run out. What am I gonna do today? Well, my son's got his buddy coming over, so I'll be making pizzas. Hey Andy, how's it coming on that pizza? Make your son a pizza yet? Andy makes pizza every Sunday. Sunday's pizza day. 4 days a week I make pizza. I do pretty good. I make my own crust. Took me years to get my crust to where I wanted it. Yeah, excuse me. And I roll it out thin. I do make a deep dish crust pizza that my wife and I will eat. My son likes it a little bit thinner. Lots of cheese. Lots of cheese. Although too much cheese on the pizza can make the crust a little bit soggy. But mine nice and golden brown. the cheese with some chard along the edges. What is it about charred cheese that tastes so good? The Crispies. Or if you make a deep dish in a deep dish pan, and then you really load it with cheese, and then, you know, you got your crust, and then above the crust, you got a layer of charred cheese combining with that crust. Oh, it's so good. Anybody had flaming cheese from a Greek restaurant, Saganaki? Oopa. You know, that was created here in Chicago at one of the Greek restaurants here. Was watching something the other day about foods that were developed here in Chicago. Of course, our Italian beef, our deep dish pizza, our Chicago dogs. Lots of good food. But pizza's been my thing. I've been making pizza for my son for years. We had to cut him back, you know. I have to now turn the tradition and teach him how to make the dough. Extend the tradition, since he likes his pizza so much. And he will put together himself and that, and I got a nice real a 3/4 inch steel plate. You know, I've heard of pizza stone. They call it a pizza stone, but it's not a stone. It's a piece of steel, 3/4 inch thick. Heavy. It'd stop a bullet. You like Marty McFly with the stove door covering his chest, like from Man with No Name, Clint Eastwood movies. But it crisps up the crust really good. The only problem is it leaves a messy oven, because then the cornmeal on that falls to the bottom. And then I would put foil down there, but then foil bakes to the bottom of the oven and then screws that up. So I like making my pizzas out on the grill a lot too. So all right, ads are over with. If you were gone, back, and I'm going to be gone. Computer, time to say goodbye. Computer, time to say goodbye. Oh, I know what happened. My microphone got knocked out. And I had to plug it back in. Computer? There we go. Computer, time to say goodbye. All right, I want to thank Cody Akalamer, Andy for the 6 months. Thank you, Andy. I hope it's worth it. I appreciate the support. Nova Charter, Donnie, and you just came back. And Mosh, my daddy. Goodbye, Mosh. Well, enjoy your pizza, Andy. We were just talking about pizza. I've been making 2 of them today.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Computer girl is late. Yes, the crust. You like the cheese melted along the edges? All right, join me on Tuesday for Tux Tuesday, where we'll be back on the Linux setup and that. Till then, you guys have a good weekend. Bye.